Welcome to the MassChallenge FinTech 2021 launch event. In a moment, you'll hear from 10 partners on the challenges they're looking to work with FinTech partners to address during the 2021 program. Usually this launch is the biggest event, one of the biggest events of the Boston FinTech Week, but like so much this year, we have had to adapt to our current environment and bring you this event virtually. Still have a lot of people and a lot of people that you'll be able to meet on this platform. We've learned so much since going remote in March, and we've actually already completed a fully virtual program accelerator with our Israel team in Jerusalem. Most of all, we're reminded how strong and resilient our entrepreneurs and partners are and how dedicated our community is. The MassChallenge FinTech community is special. MassChallenge FinTech is Boston-based, but it has a global footprint. We believe innovation requires collaboration and a diversity of perspectives. So we try to bring people together from different places, backgrounds, in order to learn from each other and work together. In an industry that is fast-paced, multifaceted, and constantly changing as FinTech, this is crucial, and you're all part of it. So thank you. Today, we ask you to make the most of this virtual experience together. Chat with fellow attendees. You can do that. You can meet FinTech entrepreneurs. You can listen to our partners' pitches. But beyond today, we want you to remember that all of you are part of growing MassChallenge FinTech community, and that our vision to shape the future of financial services in part relies on you. Judges, mentors, trusted partners, members of the community that are just interested in getting involved somehow. So thank you for supporting MassChallenge FinTech. Let's do this together. Now I'll pass over to Devin Sherman, who is the Managing Director of our MassChallenge FinTech program. Devin?
Thank you, Siobhan, and welcome to our 2021 launch. We're excited to bring everyone together today, and I want to say a special thank you to our event sponsors, Carta and Wolf & Company. Up next, you'll hear our partners' reverse pitches, which marks the official launch of our 2021 application cycle and program year. For all of the FinTech startups in the audience, you have until October 8th to complete an application for a chance to participate in our 2021 program. Taking a step back, I want to talk a little bit about what it means to be part of MCFT. First, it means community. As Siobhan said, MassChallenge prides itself on our global community. Since our launch in 2018, MCFT has worked with 55 FinTech startups from around the world and more than 20 enterprise partners from across the FinTech ecosystem. And we also work with sandboxes, investors, and governments to amplify our enterprise startup partnerships. This year, we're super excited to welcome new challenge partners KPMG and Bay Coast Bank, as well as a new gold partner, Wells Fargo Startup Accelerator. In addition to community, MCFT also means short-term results. We facilitated over 100 enterprise startup partnerships, and more than 2/3 of the cohort has completed a pilot or will complete a pilot by the end of the year. This is a core measure of our success in our 6-month program, and we're proud of the work we do to confront and reduce the long pilot purgatory that's become all too familiar in financial services. And last, MCFT means long-term industry transformation. Our goal is to help make startups more enterprise ready and enterprises more startup ready, because we know that we can achieve more together than we can alone. However, that's not all. When we think of the future of FinTech, we also imagine a more inclusive, accessible, and diverse ecosystem, one where everyone can and is encouraged to be part of and benefit from. From VC funding to leadership positions to financial products and opportunities, we have the power to change the status quo, and we encourage you to hold us accountable and hold each other accountable. So thank you everyone for being here today and being part of our vibrant community. Now you're going to hear from those 10 challenge partners, followed by a few of our alumni. Please keep an eye on the chat box for more information throughout the event, and use the right toggle on the chat to find individual attendees and message them directly. In the reception area, you'll find more information about the event, and you can review a summary of each of the partners' challenges in the partner challenges area. And if you have any questions or issues, you can visit the MC Help Desk. Thanks, everyone, and enjoy.
We are really excited to be kicking off our partner reverse pitches for our MCFT21 program. Joining us first is going to be a longtime partner of MassChallenge. They've partnered with the Health Tech program for a number of years. We've been really excited to have them be one of our first FinTech partners. So joining me on stage now to issue the reverse pitch for the AARP team is Jacqueline Baker. Jacqueline, thank you so much for joining me. Why don't you introduce yourself to the community?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Shane. I'm Jacqueline Baker. I serve as the Vice President of Startup Programming within AARP Innovation Labs.
Awesome. Well, we're really huge fans of AARP over at MassChallenge, and I know you've done some awesome work with startups over the years. So talk to me a bit about what challenges you want to tackle with startups in the FinTech program this year.
Absolutely. So we actually provide a number of opportunities for startups to engage with us in the FinTech space. But to sum it up for you, we are specifically looking for startups that provide tools to allow people to support financially sound decisions for themselves and support their community. And so you may be thinking, well, give me some specifics around that. We're looking for continuing education solutions, transparency of cost solutions, how people can make their money last until they die. How can we support people living longer? Because that's absolutely happening. And we're also curious about how we can support people around challenges with healthcare costs as well.
No, those are really interesting challenges, and making your money last is definitely top of mind here. I would love to hear about what makes AARP such a great partner for startups to work with, for the startups listening in today.
Yeah, so you shared earlier in our conversation, or earlier in our back and forth, that we've been working with you for a number of years. We're proud to say we're both on the health tech side and the FinTech side as well. And one thing that we are very much dedicated to is making sure that we refine our process. While we're a large company, there's always an opportunity to make improvements. And that's the reason why year over year, we look at the process and the way that we engage with startups to make sure that we're effective, efficient, and that we are delivering value. We know that you, startups, like to move fast, you like to be effective, and we want to make sure that we support that. So that's one thing. We also like to make sure that we offer the services that we utilize internally to our startups. And that's one huge thing that we provide to our startups is access to our design thinking practice, making sure that we're keeping humans at the center of what we're doing, because that's who we're building for. And so we help our startups with focus groups and user testings, and sometimes even in-home testing as well. So those are just a few things that we provide to our startups. And I'll add on the end too, that we also offer investment opportunities as well, something that we're very proud to have added on in 2020. So those things and many more are what we're able to offer to our startups, and we're looking forward to next year's cohort.
I'm looking forward to it as well, and I'm sure a lot of folks in the crowd are looking forward to it. Jacqueline, thank you so much to you and the AARP team, and looking forward to another great year.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Joining me next is one of our founding partners. I'm excited to be joined by Sean Belka from Fidelity.
Hey, Shane, how are you?
I'm doing great, Sean. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, awesome. So why don't you take a quick second and introduce yourself to our community?
I'm Sean Belka, Managing Director with Fidelity Investments. At Fidelity, our mission is really to strengthen and secure our clients' financial well-being, and that's what we're focused on, why we're so excited to work with MassChallenge FinTech companies that can help us make that happen.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited to be working with you again for year 3. Talk to me a little bit about what challenges Fidelity is going to focus on this year.
We have 5 challenges this year, and they're really all around that true north of helping our clients be successful. So the first one's around personalized experiences. We want to really figure out how we can hyper-personalize experiences to help people be more successful, and that's leveraging the power of data. It's bringing in new experiences and capabilities, and it's also on the advisor side. How can we help advisors better serve their clients and engage with them in new and different ways? So that's our first challenge. Our second one is really around timely and relevant insights. And here again, we really want to make sure our clients have access to the information they need to make great decisions and have great outcomes. So we're looking for partners who are delivering those timely, relevant, and actionable insights. Our third challenge is really around the kind of optimized finance. And this is the kind of intelligence layer meets automation layer. And this is really where we're looking for help that our clients can get the type of execution they need without actually even having to engage. They can set out their preferences, their goals, their risk tolerances, and hopefully we can work in the background on their behalf using machine learning, using automation. And so the idea of really helping automate towards the achievement of their goals. The fourth challenge is really access to alternative investments. It's a burgeoning asset class, and our goal is to give our clients access to all the investment options they need to be successful. And so we're looking for people that can help us to democratize the access to alternative investments. And then our final challenge is really something we're calling total well-being. And that, if you think about financial affairs are just one part of your life, how do we take that intersection of health and wealth, your legacy, how do we bring that all together in a way where, in many ways, the financial aspect is enabling you to achieve the other things you want in life, but how do we bring that holistic planning together? And that could take the form of planning tools, that could take the form of new experiences for clients to really be able to work through that. But at the end of the day, it's really about helping them be successful and about helping them secure their financial futures.
Awesome. Well, really excited about all those and excited to hear the broad diversity of challenges that Fidelity is going to be tackling this year. I'm sure a lot of startups in the crowd right now are also getting excited thinking about applying their technology to some of those problems. So talk to me a little bit about what makes Fidelity a great partner for startups.
I think there's two reasons we're a great partner for startups. One is just really our size and scale. I think, I worked at a startup before. What I really wanted to have and what I still want to have is impact at scale. And so we offer the opportunity, if you have a great solution, we have through our workplace business, our advisor business, our personal investment business, we have the opportunity to really touch tens of millions of people and positively impact their lives. And I think that's a huge opportunity for any company and for startups in particular to get access to that many customers in a powerful way. I think we combine that with a dedicated team. So our corporate development team, working with our business partners, really will serve as the startup's internal kind of advocate and help them to really navigate Fidelity and be successful. So if you combine that external view of a large kind of opportunity to affect a lot of people and an internal view of really the people to help you make it happen, I think that makes us a great partner for startups.
I totally agree, Sean, and I'm really excited to be having Fidelity join us for another year of partnership.
Well, thanks very much, Shane. We're very excited about it too. We had a great experience last. We've worked with 6 startups and we're still working with them. And we're very much excited about this next cohort and being able to take on some really large challenges and helping our customers be successful.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you joining me on stage, Sean, and we're going to send it off to our next partner.
Thanks very much, Shane.
All right, very excited to bring up our next partner. They've been a partner of MassChallenge for the past 2 years, one of our founding partners, and had a lot of success in the program. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Pete DeFrancesco from John Hancock.
Thanks, Shane. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you, Pete. So why don't you take a quick second to introduce yourself to our community?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So my name is Pete DeFrancesco. I'm the head of digital and direct-to-consumer for John Hancock.
Awesome. Well, Pete, talk to me a little bit about what challenges John Hancock wants to address to startups this year.
Sure. So we have several challenges this year. I want to highlight a couple. So one is, as part of our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, we're actually thinking about how we can partner with startups to reach consumers and communities that have been historically underserved by financial services firms. We're actually looking to do that in collaboration and in partnership with an organization called Commonwealth, which is a national nonprofit organization and focuses on achieving financial security for everyone. So that's one big challenge for us. Another one is in the underwriting space. We're a life insurance company, and we're always looking for innovative ways to connect with electronic health records, to leverage other data sets to underwrite risk and really achieve, a better outcome and experience for our customers and sort of a better business outcome for us.
Awesome. Yeah, we're really excited about these challenges, Pete, especially very excited to see John Hancock and Commonwealth, another one of our partners, working together to address a really critical issue. So I'm sure the 2 topics you touched on are definitely of real strong interest to the startups listening in today. Why don't you talk to me a little bit about what makes John Hancock a great partner for startups?
Sure. So there's a few reasons. And I guess I'd say, the first is that we have experience working with startups, with FinTech startups, to bring real digital solutions to market. So this is something that we do, and creating strategic partnerships with startups is something we're very enthusiastic about. And so this is we've done a good job of honing our internal processes as a corporate to really work more seamlessly with the right partners, with the right startups. So that's one good advantage. The other is that, we bring a wealth of knowledge in both life insurance and in wealth and asset management to the table, and hope that there's opportunity for cross-learning there. And of course, working with John Hancock, we have millions of customers in the US, so there's that access and that reach to really make a difference that we hope is attractive to startups.
Yeah, definitely. We've been so impressed with the work that John Hancock's done already, and we're really excited to be joined together for year 3, and can't wait to see what startups we can find to work with you.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Shane.
Excited to have our next partner join me on stage. They've been a longtime supporter of the MassChallenge organization, but for the first time this year, they're going to be issuing a challenge to our FinTech community. So please join me in welcoming Kevin Bolin from KPMG.
Thanks,
Kevin,
Shane.
Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Shane. Really excited to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm really looking forward to be part of the FinTech opportunity. Just by way of quick background, I'm a partner with KPMG. I serve as our national leader for strategic growth initiatives and innovation. I've been one of the champions to get the MassChallenge relationship jump-started here inside the firm. Really excited to see how it's blossomed over the last few years with you guys. Just for those who may not know who KPMG is, we are one of the big 4 accounting firms. We are a global enterprise. We operate in 145 different countries. We've got 38,000 professionals here in the US, working with clients mostly in the Fortune 1000 space, but increasingly now more with emerging SMB clients as well.
Awesome. Yeah, we're really excited to have KPMG joining us in our program this year. I know you've been a longtime supporter of the Boston program, but this is your first year engaging with our challenge model. So talk to me a little bit about the challenges that KPMG is issuing to our community today.
Yeah, we're excited. We pulled a number of our different leaders and said, what could we look for in terms of new ideas, creative thinking in different spaces to bring opportunities to our clients, and really settled on kind of 3 areas we wanted to look at. One is around dynamic management of risk that's emerging both on the operational side and technology. So when you think about the expansive footprint of our global clients, they've got risks cropping up real time around the world. The ability to really bring a dynamic machine learning, AI-enabled system in place where companies can explore and understand what's happening around the world in real time, understand what their exposures might be based on their operational and tech footprints. And these risks could be either malicious, instituted by a state agent, or they could be highly accidental, in that area. But we're looking for opportunities to get much more real-time responsiveness into the risk model versus the kind of reaction they have today. Another one is, as I mentioned before, an extension into the SMB and emerging company space. We launched KPMG Spark a couple of years back to really help automate the financial services needs of those firms. And so we're looking for opportunities to continue to expand that capability. So specifically around things like accounts payable and accounts receivable, looking for ways to automate and streamline all the various paperwork that these organizations have to go through, extracting the data from those very manual steps today and putting them into automated workflows would be awesome for that. And we're looking for ways to extend the capabilities of our KPMG Spark platform. And then the last category is really in our insurance client area. This is a big market for us going forward. And a lot of the things they're looking for in insurance and asset management are really better and more predictive ways to use data to inform some of their decisions. So one of the things we're looking at right now to respond to some emerging demand is really the predictions around residential housing opportunities. So how do we help them look at more than just a few data points, but really consider thousands of data points relative to people migration and how that's going to drive supply and demand in different categories, so they can make more confident choices about the investments they make and where they see opportunity expanding for their business.
Yeah, really excited by those challenges. And one benefit that we see to working with an organization like KPMG is just the diversity of challenges that we get to see. So excited to see some startups team up with you and address those this year. I've seen great results in the past with startups getting opportunities to work with your organization, but talk to me a little bit about what makes you a great partner to team up with startups in our FinTech program.
Yeah, I think the one thing we bring to the table, well, multiple things, but the main thing we bring is really a respect for the mutual benefit nature of this. We recognize that there's a lot more great thinking happening outside our firm than what could ever happen inside our firm when you think about the thousands and millions of people out there conceiving of new ideas and new ways to serve people going forward. We want to tap into that energy. We want to continue to diversify the range of capabilities we bring to our clients. So we're looking for this relationship to really expose us to some of that new thinking. And then in the reverse side, expose our client base to those new emerging companies who need access to the market, who they need the brand and the channel that we can provide to that. We have relationships with most CFOs across the organization. We have relationships with board members in a lot of different areas. And we have the brand and respect of a 120-year-old Big Four accounting and auditing firm that commands a level of cachet in the market and credibility that a lot of smaller firms might struggle with early on as their products are looking to get launched and adopted into the marketplace. So the synergy between what we have in our existing client base and the diversity of ideas that the startups can bring to our clients, I think is a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I'm really excited to hear that collaborative approach that you're leaning into. So I'm pumped to be teaming up with you and the team. It's been a great process so far, Kevin. Thanks so much for joining me on stage today.
Yeah, we couldn't be more excited to be here. Really looking forward to the ideas that come forward and collaborating with a number of these firms. So excited to be doing this.
Joining me on stage is a longtime supporter of MassChallenge. They're one of the founding partners of the FinTech program. They partner with the HealthTech program. Starting in 2021, we're going to be their neighbors at our new Fantier office. Join me in welcoming to the stage Mohammed Dastager from MassMutual.
Hey, Shane. Nice to see you.
Great to see you, Mohammed. Why don't you take a quick second and introduce yourself and MassMutual to our community?
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, everyone. My name is Mohammed Dastager, and I'm the head of FinTech and HealthTech partnerships at MassMutual. And at MassMutual, we're committed to helping people secure their future and protect the ones they love. Being a mutual company, we're owned by our policy owners, so everything we do is focused on our customers and their needs. We offer a wide range of financial products and services, including life insurance, protection products, retirement, and investment solutions to help people achieve their financial goals.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited to be teaming up with MassMutual for another year. Talk to me a little bit about the challenges you're issuing to our startups today.
Absolutely. And hey, you probably know by now, every year we one up on our challenges. We had 3 in our first year, 4 in our second year, and we're up to 5. So I'll run through these pretty quickly for the community. The first challenge is around data management. The industry is suffering from information overload. There's so much data out there. It's disjointed, it's redundant and unclear. And at times it's not easily accessible. So whether it's data that's internal to MassMutual or external, we are looking to have some effective centralized data management where we can have a unified picture of customers' needs, which is key to better serving them. The second challenge revolves around customer centricity. This challenge, quite frankly, goes hand in hand with data management. There's a huge gap in the industry today with having a holistic view around customers' needs and truly understanding what they're looking for, especially Gen Zs and millennials. We will love your insights on how we can educate customers and leverage data to help them make effective decisions. The third challenge is around financial planning and education. And a frequent question that we get from customers of all income levels is, how am I doing financially? With unemployment rising and increasingly volatile economic conditions, it's important now more than ever to provide accessible and easy to understand financial planning and education, especially over the course of a customer's lifetimes and as their needs change. With the rollout of 5G, we're really hoping to see if there's some interesting opportunities there to help solve this challenge. The fourth challenge we have is around digital enablement. COVID-19 has impacted and changed the way that everyone is doing business. Even if you think you're digitally enabled, quite frankly, you're probably not. The pandemic has and will continue to change norms and push us into a more digitally enabled ecosystem. We will love to be the pioneers and partner with you on this journey and take our whole digital experience to the next level, and also be able to serve our customers on their terms, wherever, however, and whenever. And our final challenge is around real-time intelligence. Whether you're a customer you're helping serve customers, by having the ability to obtain real-time actionable intelligence to allow for better and timely decision-making is essential. We will love to partner with the community out here and understand better ways to leverage AI and other real-time intelligence capabilities, which will then help aid in offering the right products and services at the right time and enable better decision-making.
Yeah, that's a lot of really exciting challenges in there, a pretty big range. So I'm sure there's a lot of startups in the crowd right now hearing those and thinking about how their technology is relevant. So talk to me a little bit about what makes MassMutual a great partner for startups.
Yeah, Shane, you probably heard me say this many times before, but startups to us, they're the hub of innovation. And over the last couple of years that I've had the opportunity to work with a number of highly talented and diverse startups in the MassChallenge program, the level of innovation and agility exhibited by all the startups, quite frankly, has been just truly remarkable. And being in the financial services industry, I know firsthand of the need for new ideas, and we're extremely confident that by leveraging the platform through MassChallenge FinTech program, we're going to help be able to build our industry and that startup collaboration.
Awesome. Well,
additionally, I'll just add one more thing. MassMutual is an excellent partner for startups because over the last 2 years, our track record has been excellent. We've had 2 startups that basically won top awards, and over 50% of our partnerships have turned into engagements. Additionally, we have a bunch of resources that we're willing to share with each of the different startups to really help them in their journey and make them successful. We're thirsty for innovation, and we're always looking for new ways to solve real business problems. So we welcome everyone to take a look at the challenges, and we look forward to partnering with you. And we're extremely confident that we can make Boston the leading fintech ecosystem for innovation and help solve our industry challenges. Thank you all.
Yeah, Mohammed, that was really great. Thank you so much for joining me on stage.
Thank you, Shane, and thank you, everyone.
It's time to hear from our next partner. Joining me on stage is Jay Leopold from Columbia Threadneedle.
Hi, Shane. I'm really excited to be here with you.
We're excited to have you and dig into year 3 of our partnership. Why don't you take a minute and introduce yourself to our community?
Sure. I'm Jay Leopold, head of North America Investment Risk for Columbia Threadneedle. I've headed up our efforts to accelerate innovation at our firm and worked really closely with our leaders at our parent company, Ameriprise. Columbia Threadneedle is a leading global asset manager managing over $475 billion for institutional and retail clients. Our parent company, Ameriprise, is a financial services industry leader with an $18 billion market cap, 13,000 employees around the world, including nearly 10,000 financial advisors in the United States.
Awesome. Well, we're pumped to have you on board. Talk to me a little bit about the challenges that you want to tackle with startups this year.
Sure. We want to work closely with the fintech community to better utilize new technologies that include business intelligence, behavioral science, advanced analytics, AI, natural language processing, and machine learning to more innovatively and efficiently collect, organize, store, and analyze data to drive better business insights. We seek to improve our data environment and platforms to more effectively manage our growing needs around data for our firm. We're approaching this work in 5 broad areas: distribution, investments, wealth management and advice, consumer banking, and regulatory oversight. Now, to address our distribution and marketing needs, we want to reach clients, advisors, firms with the right solution, the right message at the right time by leveraging data, new distribution channels, and new approaches. We want to further digitize the client experience and embed digital in everything we do with our financial advisors, clients, and firms regarding our products and services. We want to further digitize and enhance the overall user experience and capture more data on the way our stakeholders are interacting with our platforms. On the investment side, we also want to deliver differentiated solutions for clients by developing insights for the more effective investment decisions and financial decisions, and help our firms and advisors work better with their clients to meet their goals. On the regulatory compliance and legal side, we want to utilize new technologies to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of our important oversight functions for regulatory, fraud prevention, and other purposes to protect our client assets and enhance our already strong compliance oversight. And last but not least, we want to aim to enhance our research capabilities and knowledge management to drive excess returns into our portfolios with tools that ease the collection of data so our team can spend more time analyzing the data and creating insights.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing those, Jay. And I'm sure the startups in the crowd are all really excited to apply their technology to support your organization. Talk to me a bit about what makes you a great partner for startups.
Great question, Shane. As a global leader in the financial services industry, both Columbia Threadneedle and Ameriprise are committed to being best-in-class asset management and wealth management providers and intend to partner with the right fintech companies to improve our already strong efforts to modernize, digitize, and support our growth, not only over the next decade, but beyond that. We have a strong level of executive buy-in to support our MassChallenge partnerships and are eager to team up with startups this year that have experience working with large financial services firms like us. Startups will have the opportunity to work across both business lines at Columbia Threadneedle and Ameriprise. And ideally, we want to work collaboratively to create a well-designed proof of concept based on your firm's strengths. To the extent you need help broadening your use cases, we can provide insights and guidance while collaborating on the proof of concept. Our experience, passion to innovate, client focus, and strong desire to co-learn make us an ideal partner for startups seeking new use cases and insights into several distinct areas in our industry.
Awesome. Well, excited for another year of partnership, Jay. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, we're really pumped up about it too.
All right, joining me next on stage is one of our founding partners. Really excited to be having them join us for year 3 of our program. It's Citizens Bank. So I'm going to be joined by Charles Bayruthi from Citizens. Hey, Charles, how's it going?
Awesome. How are you? It's great to be here.
Well, yeah, doing well. So why don't you kick things off? You introduce yourself to our community.
Hi, Charles Bayruthi. I head up some of our FinTech initiatives at Citizens. I work on some of our proof of concepts, pilots, and managing our relationships with our incubator partners.
Awesome. Well, we're pumped to have you here, Charles. And I know Citizens has been a longtime supporter of MassChallenge. You've had some great success with startups in years 1 and 2 of our program. So talk to me a little bit about what challenges you're looking to solve in year 3.
Absolutely. So in the past 2 years, we had a challenge that was dedicated to our consumer and commercial banks, respectively. This year, we've actually opted to change our challenge structure a little bit. And I think the biggest change is that our consumer and commercial banks are respectively are looking at some of the same challenges, but also approaching them in very different ways. So from our perspective today, we are thinking about how can we take technology and operationalize some of the manual processes that we have, but also thinking about how can we make operations a lot more efficient for our different service units, for our colleagues, and subsequently when you look at it from a customer experience perspective, make things a lot more accessible for the customer base. At the same time, we also were saying, well, we're going digital, right? The whole bank is going digital, and we're excited about this through different initiatives such as our digital transformation, our next-gen technology initiatives. We're thinking about how do we bring technology to the enterprise at an accelerated rate. And one of our greatest partnerships has been, working with our digital and technology services teams, who are basically the backbone of a lot of the technology transformation that's going to be happening going forward. So as we think about how we are bringing these new technologies to our consumers, both in our consumer bank and our commercial bank, how do we really bring together the next generation technology infrastructure on which these products are going to run and operate? Additionally to that point, I would say we're thinking about this in a whole new way. There's a lot of creativity that can be done here and brought to the table. We want to look at technologies such as IoT. We want to look at AI. We want to look at all of these new and innovative technologies, some of which no bank will ever touch or has not touched in the past. And that is something we're very passionate about in saying, can we be the first to bring these to market? So that's basically our message to the startups this year. You've got an amazing opportunity to really showcase some novel new technology that a bank is willing to take a risk on.
Yeah, I love that. And really interested to see year 3 with, as you mentioned, bridging the gap between the different parts of the bank and really looking at that broad level of digital transformation. Excited to see the results. And I'm sure a lot of startups are super interested in the crowd right now to be teaming up with Citizens Bank. So let's chat a little bit about what makes Citizens Bank a great partner for startups.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things that we can give to our startups that come in, and we've done this every year that we've been in the program, is we're looking at not just operating with them as a product, but we are looking to make them a better company. At the end of the day, some of these startups have never worked with banks. They've never worked with a corporate, but they have an amazing technology. And so being a company is not just about having a product, it's about being able to take whatever product it is and bring it to a particular level of testing, production, and so forth. And so from the perspective of what we've worked with our startups, it has been immensely paramount that we bring a certain level of discipline and certain level of understanding to the startups and saying, can we really turn this into a feasible product, into a feasible offering that you're going to be able to take from our bank and possibly bring it to other banks as well in some iteration or form. And I think for a lot of startups, that's a really exciting proposition that they don't really get at a lot of other places, right? And I think in this case, right, because we are positioned in New England, we're positioned in Boston, and we're positioned with a lot of other regional players in a lot of different spaces, we're able to offer up a massive network to these different groups. Additionally, I would just point out that last year we had an amazing track record in terms of bringing proof of concepts to the forefront in an accelerated rate and get results out of those proof of concepts and validation. And I think from that perspective, that makes us a great partner. That makes us a partner that's really going to say, look, this either works or here's how we can improve upon it. That, for a startup, that's invaluable. And I can also say, having been a startup founder myself, and some of the FinTech or folks at Citizens who are colleagues who have been at FinTechs or have worked at FinTechs, there is an ecosystem at Citizens that will allow the startup to really thrive.
Yeah, I'm super excited to hear that, Charles. Thank you so much for joining me on stage, and pumped for year 3 of our partnership.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. Joining me on stage next is a partner we've been excited to work with for the past 2 years and are really excited to team up with again for year 3. Join me in welcoming Sumedh Mehta from Putnam Investments.
Hi, Shane. How are you?
I'm doing great, Sumedh. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Really happy to be here today.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Why don't you take a quick second to introduce yourself and Putnam to our community?
Sure. Happy to do that. Hi, everyone. I'm Sumedh Mehta. It's my great privilege to be representing Putnam Investments, where I am the CIO currently.
Awesome. Well, Sumedh, we're excited for year 3 of working with Putnam. Talk to me a little bit about the challenge that you want to team up with startups to solve.
Sure. We are very excited about this year's challenges. We really dug deep into the organization and we came up with key themes around which we wanted to propose challenges. We wanted the challenges to provide innovative solutions. We want them to be valuable to companies like ours. And we want them to have broad appeal across the industry so the startups can benefit as well. We came up with the area of regulatory compliance as a critical area around which we should have challenges and look for solutions.
Yeah, and we're excited to be really focusing on RegTech with Putnam this year. So talk me through some of the specific areas in the regulatory compliance space that you want to address.
Sure. The thinking, Shane, really comes from our modernization space. So we are modernizing our internal technologies. We are going to the cloud. We are utilizing new types of databases and services. And when we look at all of our compliance technologies, we look at it and say, boy, this is ripe for innovation. This is an area that can leverage cloud computing, data, analytics. Wouldn't it be great to find solutions in this space from a partner who understands the regulations that impact our business? And if we can find that, integrate those technologies into our environment, we could really be up and running very easily, very quickly. And mostly, the change in this environment is really big. The regulator does not stand still. They look at all the things that are going on, and they are ready with new legislative changes that we have to comply to. It's not a problem. It's something that we change. But if we could change faster because of innovation and technology, that would definitely add value to us. we would be able to innovate new products in this area. So we really look at this and say, we want to find a partner who's done really well, who understands regulation, who understands our pain points, and they can partner with us to help evolve their technology and their business, and we will thrive together.
Yeah, no, I think that's really exciting. And one thing I also noticed in reviewing your challenge for this year is the focus on content management. Talk to me a little bit about what Putnam's looking to do there.
Certainly. Another area which is big and has wide appeal, needs innovation, is the area of content management. As you know, content coming out of companies like ours has to be compliant with the regulations, right? So when we create content, we have to make sure that it's compliant. When we distribute it, we have to make sure we are compliant with both, not just our regulation, but also those of our advisors. Sometimes they have rules that govern engagement. So we want to say, okay, we're looking for technology. We're looking for technology in the regulatory compliance space. We also want to extend that to applications of regulation, compliance, and content management. So someone who has taken content management systems, made them easily accessible, searchable for mobile use cases. As you know, Shane, everyone's working from home these days. We are more mobile than we have ever been. We want mobile solutions in the area of content distribution, content management, and content finding, searchability. Right?
Yeah, this is all great. Yeah, this is all great, Sumedh, and I'm sure everything you said has resonated with a lot of the startups listening in right now. So talk to me about what makes Putnam a great partner for startups to work with.
Sure, that's a great question. You know, Putnam has had a history of working with startups. People have had ideas. In one case, it was ideas around compliance systems, where Putnam has been willing to invest its talent internally, make time for startups in the interest of getting new technologies, innovative technologies and solutions integrated into its ecosystem, and both have thrived. We have done well because we get early indications of what new technology can do, and the startups have done well because we have a particularly sophisticated investment management business. They learn a lot working with our people. Our business partners are great collaborators, and we have done well working with startups in the past. We want to continue that theme with the MassChallenge ecosystem.
Yeah, and really appreciate all of that, Sumedh. And I know we've had a lot of learnings in years 1 and 2, so looking forward to take those and applying them in year 3. And can't wait to see what startups we can find to work with Putnam.
We're looking forward to it as well, Shane. Thank you very much.
All right, joining me on stage next is our newest partner. We're excited to be teaming up with them as part of MassChallenge FinTech 2021. Please join me in welcoming Dan DaCosta from Bay Coast Bank.
Thank you very much, Shane.
Thanks for joining me, Dan. Why don't you take a quick second and introduce yourself and Bay Coast to our community?
Yeah, sure. So Bay Coast Bank, we're a community bank based out of southeastern Massachusetts and Rhode Island. We've been in business since 1851. We're about $2 billion in assets now, about close to 500 employees. Personally, I've been with the bank since I was 17 years old, so I'll be 20 years as of next year. We have a primary focus on our community, especially education. So we do everything that we can in our community to assist with that mission.
Yeah, no, we're really excited to be working with you this year, Dan. And as a team, we've been really excited to team up with regional banks this year. And I think there's a lot of unique challenges that are posed right now to community banks. So talk to me a little bit about the challenges that Bay Coast want to solve with our community.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we really want to focus on is essentially making Bay Coast the top of wallet. We essentially want to offer the ability to have a flexible reward system that allows our customers to offer roll-ups on their debit card transactions, as well as rewards, just as you would have on a normal rewards card, but also direct those funds in whichever way that you would like to. So if you'd like to direct those funds to a charity or to your own savings account, you would have the ability to make those changes kind of on the fly. And that's essentially what our challenge is to be able to make that happen and give our customers that flexibility. That also will provide that enhancement to our community involvement as well.
Yeah, no, Love that focus. And I know Bay Coast serves its community and customers really well. And we're excited to match you with some startups. So talk to me a little bit about what makes Bay Coast a great partner for the startups listening in today.
Yeah, absolutely. So Bay Coast for a long time now has had a serious focus on FinTech. We have always been forward thinking. We actually perform some of our own in-house development. And I think that will also assist us to work with a partner and maybe do some things that other institutions wouldn't be able to do because they don't have those capabilities in-house. So we're really excited to be able to engage with some of the FinTech cohorts.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to see where this partnership takes us. Thanks for joining me on stage, Dan.
Thank you.
All right, last but certainly not least, we're going to hear a reverse pitch from the team from the city of Boston. We're really excited to be teaming up with the city for another year. They've been a longtime supporter of our health tech program, and last year issued some challenges for our FinTech program. So joining me on stage now, we have Jerica Bradley and Brian Glasscock.
Thank you, Shane. My name is Jerica Bradley, and I'm the Director of Alternative Finance for the City of Boston. And I've been with the City of Boston for about a year and a half, and it's opportunities like these that really make me excited and happy for the job that I have in alternative finance. And this year, we're co-leading with the Boston Planning and Development Agency, and my colleague Brian Glasscock is here representing the BPDA.
Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Jerica. I'm Brian Glasscock. I'm with the Boston Planning and Development Agency. I'm the Deputy Director for Regulatory Planning and Zoning. Been with the city for several decades in a variety of roles, running different departments. But I'm excited to be with the Planning and Development Agency for about 5 years now.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited to be working with the city again, and I'm really excited for the challenges that you've built, focusing on small businesses, kind of in a post-COVID world. So, Jerica, kind of walk us through what challenges the city of Boston wants to team up with startups to solve.
Yeah, so I guess it helps to put this in context, and no surprise, COVID-19 is really where all of our thoughts and efforts are going to these days. And being that the fact that the pandemic is widespread and the impacts are widespread as well, affecting everybody from the individual all the way up to large corporations. And we wanted to take a business community focus to our challenges this year, and realizing both from the city and the Boston Planning and Development Agency perspective, the backbone of Boston's economy really is business. So we have two challenges that we're proposing this year. And the first one, we're looking for solutions for commercial spaces to stay vibrant. And the other one is we're looking for solutions to help small businesses with transferable or mobile credit. And, we're also looking for this like glue. We want to glue these two challenges together through three goals. And that's really to focus on strengthening our existing relationships and building new ones. We're looking to continue and increase our collaboration through public-private partnerships with private sector. And we're also looking to foster community engagement. So Brian, I think is going to talk more about the specifics of the challenges.
Sure. Thanks, Jerica. I think the two halves of this, keeping our commercial spaces vibrant and finding ways for small businesses to build equity and credit and take that with them, are going to be key to helping us bounce back from COVID. The crisis has been disastrous for many small businesses, and on a daily and weekly basis, you read about some of our most beloved, long-term local businesses just can't make a go of it anymore. So the first part, keeping Boston's local businesses vibrant. Boston's a city of neighborhoods, of 16, 17 different neighborhoods, depending on how you count it. Many of them were formed as so-called streetcar suburbs. They're a small town feel to it with a main street and everything that was connected to the downtown jobs by streetcars. And every neighborhood had their own pharmacies and restaurants and specialty stores, and everything you needed was practically within walking distance. And we've kind of gotten away from that over time. Many of these local shops were replaced by chain banks, nail salons, dollar stores, and things that aren't really adding much to the neighborhood, aren't creating stability and creating jobs for local residents. So finding a way of revitalizing these neighborhoods is key. The other part of that, the other side of that coin, is the fact that small businesses need a lot of money to start up, and they sink costs into fixtures and fit out of these commercial spaces. And if they grow and try to move, they've got to start over again. If they're displaced because rents go up, because the landlords see them as successful and start charging higher rents, they get displaced. They're not building equity. They're not building their capital, both the physical and that financial aspects of it, as well as finding a way of monetizing the business that they've built, the goodwill within the community. So having you folks look into how we make those two things work is really going to be helpful for us.
Yeah, these are definitely very relevant and timely challenges, and I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs in the crowd right now are excited by the opportunity to tackle these really pressing challenges. But I'm sure there's a lot of questions about kind of how does a startup work with the City of Boston. So Jerica, walk me through what makes the City of Boston a great partner for startups.
Yeah, so the City of Boston has many touch points across all different segments of the Boston economy: health, public safety, education, climate resiliency, housing, and a bunch more. So we have a really wide net of resources and relationships and tools that we already have that we can bring to the table, as well as this year we are partnering with the BPDA, and so we have all of their institutional knowledge and networks and resources as well. We really have a really wide net that we're bringing to the table this year.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited to work with you both. Thank you so much for joining me on stage, and looking forward to a great year together.
Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, Shane. Thank you.
Awesome. So thank you to the team at the City of Boston for joining me on stage. Really excited to be teaming up with them again. Thank you to all the partners for sharing challenges today. That was our last reverse pitch. Stay tuned for how we can take those challenges and apply them now.
Hi again, everyone, and shout out to our partners for some excellent reverse pitches, as well as Shane for some excellent moderating. For those of you who have just joined, I'm Devin Sherman, and I'm the Managing Director of MassChallenge FinTech. Next up, we're going to have an alumni panel, which I'm really excited about. As we wait for some of our alumni to join, I'm just going to go through a few kind of quick tips for after we finish up with the panel. So just another reminder, our startup applications are open today through October 8th. So if you're an interested startup, we definitely encourage you to apply. It only takes an hour, maybe two. We don't take any equity, and we have a great track record of pilots, so it's really a no-brainer. And also, if you're interested in judging applications as a subject matter expert, we'd love to have you. So please also reach out to us at fintech@masschallenge.org. So after our alumni panel, we're going to have a bunch of opportunities for some virtual networking. So a few quick tips when we wait for our panelists to join. You can use the People tab on the right chat to chat directly with specific attendees, and you can also use the networking feature on the left to get matched with someone at random for a quick 3-minute video call. So really, we have a really vibrant community here. I'm really excited for everyone to meet some new people and engage with each other. So we should have our panelists joining now. Just wait a minute. Here we go. Hey, Kevin.
Hi.
Hey, Laura.
Hey.
How are you guys?
We're doing great. Great to be here.
Great to have you. So really excited. We've got some incredible alumni with us. We have Kevin from Mark Labs. We have Laura from Stratify. And we're also waiting for Karin to join us from Posh. And so, while we're waiting for Karin to join, let's dive in, and it would be great, Laura and Kevin. Hey, Karin, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So we're going to dive right in. This is going to be a short and sweet panel, and would love to kick it off by having all of you guys quickly introduce yourselves and your company. So Kevin, why don't we start with you?
Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Barrow. I'm the founder and CEO of MarkLabs. MarkLabs helps asset managers measure the impact of their investments. And we work with organizations that range from asset managers to private equity to foundations and endowments to make sure that the investments that they make match their ethics.
Great. Laura?
Hello, everyone. I'm Laura Kornhauser, co-founder and CEO of Stratify. Stratify's platform helps financial institutions drive business insights and improve risk-based decision-making across their organization while mitigating unconscious bias and ensuring regulatory compliance. We're focused on decisions like which loans to approve or what to investigate for potential fraud. Core to our approach is a proprietary machine learning technology that provides what we like to call true transparency, really offering clarity that helps drive a deeper understanding of your customers by bridging the gap between business and data science, really marrying the subject matter expertise of the business user with the data modeling abilities of data scientists. Thank you so much, MassChallenge, FinTech, and the corporate partners for your commitment to this great program and having us all here today.
Great. Karin?
Yep. Hey guys, my name is Karin Kashyap. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Posh Technologies. Posh is a downtown Boston-based conversational AI company that spun out of a research lab at MIT just about 2 years ago. So we're focusing on providing customer service and member service automation for banks and credit unions.
Awesome. Well, thanks, everyone. So first question for all of you. At MCFT, we're all about intentional enterprise startup partnerships. So based on your experience and your lessons learned, what is your top piece of advice that you can share with your fellow founders here today about how to best navigate big enterprises and form really thriving partnerships? So Kevin, why don't we start with you again and work our way down?
Fantastic. So working with a startup is often in addition to the day job of any corporate partner we have. And therefore, it is our job as innovators to do the heavy lifting. At the most basic level, what this means is that we're on top of communication and having a clear roadmap of where we want to go and making sure that this is something which is constantly being evolved with your corporate partners. This also means that we have to provide the materials and the arguments that make it easy for our champions to advocate on our behalf. And that means being mindful of everything from who their stakeholders are to the risks that they have to manage, the constraints that they have, and most importantly, their real pain points. This also means making sure that the value proposition, what are the needs, are absolutely from the perspectives of these stakeholders, and again, is clear. And then finally, perhaps the most important thing that is sometimes overlooked is making sure that it is both safe for your corporate partner as well as being fun for your corporate partner. And it sounds kind of strange to put it that way, but the safe part is that you're dealing with someone's career, right? And no one's going to get no one's going to get fired for working with IBM, but there is that that real human risk of working with a small team that's trying to do something really innovative. So anything you can do to alleviate that risk and make it incredibly easy for your internal champions to move you forward is absolutely essential and cannot be overstated. And then making it fun, because at startups we're often the breath of fresh air that is coming in. We're the agile innovators that are shaking things up and helping to bring something that is differentiating and innovative into many times a very large institution. So that would be my bit of advice.
Super empathetic. Love that, Kevin. Laura, Karin, anything to add?
Well, I would echo Kevin's comments for sure. Completely agreed 100%. Just to add a bit more around that, I would say, the 6 months of MassChallenge goes very quickly, as does any period of time when you're working with a large corporation. So Day one, you want to be off the starting block very quickly. I know for us personally, especially in last year's program, with the, if you will, changes that happened midway through the program due to unforeseen circumstances that everybody did a beautiful job of navigating, by the way. But it was extraordinarily beneficial for our company that we hit the ground running with our corporate partners right away from day one, such that we had progress by the time those roadblocks that, perhaps hopefully not of the same nature as this past year will happen again, but inevitably they happen at any point in time. And if you don't kind of get off that starting block right away and have a bit of a slow start, that can absolutely kill you and kill folks' motivation on the other side of the table, as Kevin was very aptly, I think, discussing that. So I think that's extraordinarily important, as is really remembering that you have to help manage that process and help make that easy and fun. I think that's perfect for Kevin, for your partner. And then the last thing I would just mention is that get yourself around the organization, leverage your champion. We had such great, our champions did such a fantastic job of helping us do this, but really be proactive in doing that to get other stakeholders, other folks involved in your engagement as soon, as early as possible, to help make your champions and your line of business contacts life as easy as possible as they're trying to go and advocate for you internally at the organization.
Yeah, absolutely, Laura. Having overseen a lot of these partnerships, that early progress is absolutely key. So Karin, anything to add to what Kevin and Laura have already shared?
Yeah, not much more to add, but a couple of lessons that I learned, first of all, is I think it's a big learning opportunity for both parties. So that's one thing that I wouldn't take lightly. Even as a startup, like MassChallenge is one of the first opportunities for us to actually work with a larger company. And there were just so many things that I learned about how the processes work, how decision-making works. And a lot of those lessons have translated out towards our other customer deals now. So everything from regulatory hurdles to diligence roadblocks, these are all things that you can actually get better at doing over time, and keeping really close attention to how that works pays off.
Yeah, that's great, Karin. And one of the really interesting things we're seeing going into year 3 at MCFT is we have our partners sharing lessons learned and best practices with other partners, and our startups turning around and sharing that to their fellow cohort members. So loving that kind of increased intra collaboration as well. So I want to flip it around and also ask all of you, what is the top piece of advice you can share with all of the corporate partners who are tuning in today about how they can best work with startups to ensure that really meaningful results are achieved? So why don't we flip it around, and Karin, we'll start with you and go backward.
Yeah, sure thing. So I think what's worked really well for us is kind of doing a bit of a buffet approach at the beginning, where you kind of bring in different stakeholders from your organization and just kind of hear out what startups have to offer. Because I think sometimes you'll be surprised that there might not be pain points that have really been surfaced internally, or there might be solutions to problems you might not have actually thought about. So getting a chance to actually see what a startup is all about, and maybe there's flexibility from the startup side too, where there's a unique opportunity for them to add value and pivot a little bit that they had never considered before either. So I think just kind of being open-minded, but kind of bringing in a lot of people into the discovery process is a good win-win for everyone, because it kind of gets the gears turning a bit. But besides that, I mean, I think the biggest thing is to really kind of have achievable goals in mind. Like if you can figure out some real smaller problems to tackle, given that 6 months really goes by quickly, smaller problems that might not require as much of the due diligence process or might not be as involved in integration, something that you can show a quick win around. I think that'll allow both parties to walk away with something meaningful and set a good foundation for future collaboration.
Love that. Laura?
Yeah, love that as well. Love the quick win as well. I think starting small and then using that as a good, if you will, a launching point to be able to go bigger is absolutely huge. I would, the only thing I would add is really feedback, and more feedback. There is nothing that startups can benefit more greatly from, or really crave more than really honest and candid feedback from corporate partners. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between, it's all extraordinarily valuable, and it is just so helpful to us as we are continuing to evolve and grow. And giving that and giving that in a transparent way and as much of it as humanly possible, I think just can be so valuable for your startup partners. And I would also add to that a slightly related note that while no is not our favorite answer to hear, oftentimes maybe is a heck of a lot more painful than a no can be. So, you know, we prefer yeses, of course, but quick no's actually can be some of the most valuable things from a resource perspective and a prioritization perspectives for startups, especially when you're a startup like all of us are, that has a lot of things that we could do and a lot of value and benefit that we can offer to a financial institution. The worst thing that we can do is kind of spend time and resources pursuing something that's ultimately not a great fit. And folks internally, our champions and other stakeholders internally at those corporations are the best suited to be able to really help us understand, you know, when a maybe is really a no, and again, no's are okay, and in many cases can be extraordinarily helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. The infamous pilot purgatory we talk about, that murky, no fun for anyone.
Yeah.
Great advice, Laura. Kevin, anything to add on the corporate side?
Yeah, so this was actually not our first corporate engagement, but it was by far our most successful one. And when I look back on what was fun, what really allowed us to accomplish as much as we did, and the accomplishment for us really was being able to take what could be called a spotlight of focus. We thought we were focused, and this really helped us to become achieve laser precision with regards to everything from product market fit to refining our roadmap, and has set the stage for a great customer advancement, investor advancement, all sorts of things afterwards. And when I tried to distill those points, it was all around clarity. So what was unique about our partnership this year was that there was a clear path to success with clear milestones, a clear understanding of what success looked like for the corporation. And this was something which our partners continuously came back and we would ask, and sometimes there were no's, or sometimes there was never maybe there was many no's, but what that allowed us to do was to say, okay, this clearly is not something which is resonating. Let's dig a little bit deeper. And when we finally got to something where the light bulb went off and we saw the eyes of our clients sparkle, like we knew we hit it, and we rapidly tested that with other partners that we were engaging or other companies we were engaging, and we realized that yes, we actually had discovered a golden ticket, and we threw all of our resources in that, and it's led to great success for us. So I would say the other thing on top of that, that those clearness to success and milestones is making sure that there are clear budgets with clear ownership and clear decision-making processes, because many times for someone who's outside in the startup universe, you see someone with the title managing director or chief this or that, and you think that they can move forward. When in reality, there are many more stakeholders that need to be brought into that decision. So making sure that that's clear, because your expectations are so important. For startups, days are weeks, weeks are months, and months are lifetime. So that is all that's really, really helpful.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Confronting and clarifying the budget as early as possible. Can't say enough about that. So switching gears a bit, at MassChallenge, we bring not only startups and corporates, but also governments together. So Kevin, I'm going to direct this at you, because at Merck Labs, you've stressed that social transformation really depends on private, public, philanthropic sectors all coming together. I'd love to hear from you, why is this collaboration so important? And can you also provide an example based on your work that really brings this to light?
Yeah, so I mean, when it comes to social impact, there are no silver bullets. The process of change is a longitudinal process, and requires genuinely like an ecosystems approach. And so the role of the usual suspects like government and philanthropy is incredibly obvious. But when we think about the UN Sustainable Development Goals or climate change, or just any of the challenges that we are facing, the role of the private sector, and in particular the investor community, is essential. And in order for that to be achieved, there needs to be transparency and accountability if we want to unlock capital. And so that sometimes, in terms of when it's done best, we see that there is that fluidity of exchange and data and coordination between these sectors, even if it's done in a distributed manner. And it's a case point that I would point to is the work that we've done with some really exciting institutions and forward-thinking institutions like the Gates Foundation, the United Nations, bringing in a government and also the private sector. And it was all about being able to move oceans of capital to solve really entrenched problems. And the particular problem that was being addressed here was dealing with Syrian refugees, and in particular in the context of Turkey. And so there are 5 million Syrian refugees in Turkey, hugely disruptive to everything from the economy to society, and at a time where the Turkish economy was lacking. And so, so we were brought in as the partner to help make investment, to help these organizations make better investments with the goal of being able to address real life needs and the ability to have real-time data and make this an iterative process, being able to figure out how to allocate capital at scale to address really specific problems could not be understated, and helping people to understand how they can uniquely contribute to that while doing something that's beneficial to their business is very empowering.
Yeah, wonderful example, Kevin. And so in the somewhat of the same vein, I'm going to turn it over to you, Laura. And really, given the events of the last several months, financial security has never been more relevant, more important. Can you share a little bit about what Stratify is doing to promote financial security and why initiatives like eliminating bias in AI should be a really crucial focus for the industry right now?
Yeah, fantastic question. Thank you for asking, Devin. We've all probably read the headlines, but financial security is of course more important now than ever. And unfortunately, the crisis is having a disproportionate impact on certain communities and really ingraining a lot of, I'll say the sins or problems of our past and really doubling down on them, unfortunately. And, we are extraordinarily focused at Stratify on the problem in particular of bias in machine learning and bias in, I'll say, advanced algorithmic decision-making. Fundamentally, a lot of the biases of our past are ingrained in a lot of the data that is used to train a lot of these algorithms. And without folks and leaders like those that are on the call, taking an active stance against this and really a proactive stance against this. If you just learn from the data alone, unfortunately, you're going to just further ingrain those problems of the past into decisions going forward because of the bias that is built into that data. So what we are focused on in particular, and this is what we call the true transparency, is helping folks not just uncover those bias, many times of which those biases are unconscious. You don't have to have gender, race, ethnicity as an input to your model to have that model be, unfortunately, extremely biased against any of those protected classes because it's encoded in other variables that you often may not really realize are heavily correlated to those factors. So first and foremost, we're focused on helping folks identify those biases, but very importantly, and this is something we see as a key differentiator of our technology, we can help you do something about it. So we can help you actually mitigate those biases and not just identify them and recover, but take a more proactive stance, a more proactive approach towards fixing those problems. And have had some really great proof and traction points of our ability to do that, especially over the last few months where we've seen a really notable uptick in interest from corporate customers to take action and address this problem now. You don't have to look far around you to see the pressure that is mounting from the public, from Washington, from the media, from internally within organizations, and corporations, leading corporations want to move beyond, pitch books and PowerPoints that talk about their AI initiatives and their corporate ethics, and really get those ingrained in their technology and their decision making. And that's exactly what Stratify is here to help them do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Really impressive that you guys can not only identify, but also mitigate those biases. So switching gears to Karan now, Posh has participated not only in MassChallenge FinTech, but also our sister program in HealthTech, which has presented some vertical expansion opportunities in addition to your original focus and core focus on credit unions. Would love to hear from you, Karan. What are some of those top factors you take into consideration when thinking about expanding into industries that are adjacent to financial services?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, the health tech program was a bit different compared to our FinTech experience because it was in 2020 versus 2019. So very different experiences, but it was still a really great experience. So for us, we were looking at other aspects of financial services besides retail banking. And so, insurance specifically was a pretty interesting kind of sister vertical or tangential vertical opportunity that we were interested in just kind of learning more about. And so, we went into health tech pretty much open-minded, but, our kind of focus within that was trying to see if there were applications of our technology similar to what we do with retail banking in the insurance landscape. And so, I think consideration-wise, our technology itself is a fairly horizontal technology in the sense that we do conversational AI and we're able to, build models based on the customer's data. And so there's a lot of different, applications or angles that we can take our technology. But at the same time, you also benefit from being domain specific to some degree as well. So, we didn't want to completely change gears and go to a completely random industry. So in a sense, the insurance vertical seemed to be, pretty close to some of the pain points and use cases that we were looking at with retail banking. And it was a really great experience. I think we learned a lot about overlap and even in terms of the systems and, kind of the integration processes and stuff like that, there's a high degree of overlap between the two industries.
Yeah, thanks, Karan. Really thoughtful. And also shout out to all the startups tuning in. Obviously, if you're a FinTech startup, this program makes sense. But even if you're coming from other sectors, whether it's healthcare, whether it's defense, whether it's sports tech, definitely take a closer look at the challenges because the cross-industry pollination that's happening is really unprecedented. So don't be afraid to throw your hat into a FinTech program. So last question for all of you. Really, any words of wisdom for your fellow founders in the audience who are thinking about applying to MCFT? Parting words of wisdom.
Yeah, I can go first on this one. So first of all, I don't think it's much of a decision. I think it's, it's a great experience applying itself. Like I found the application to be very thought-provoking to some degree because the questions that are posed are questions that investors might ask you or that honestly you should probably be asking yourself from time to time anyway. So, sitting down for, I don't know, maybe an hour or so, I think it took to kind of fill out the application, but really kind of thinking about each of the questions and reflecting on it was, first of all, a great exercise. And if you're doing that anyway, you might as well just go ahead and apply. So, it was a pretty nice process. And I think even the feedback that you get from people that are reviewing your application, when judges review the application, they're industry experts. And so it's nice to kind of get their perspectives. Some of them could be potential buyers of your product as well. So getting their feedback as to like, oh, you should look into X or Y competitor, or this could be a really great use case if you thought of this use case, for example. You get a lot from just the application process. And the program itself was awesome. So I don't really think there's much of a decision here.
Thanks, Karan. Laura, Kevin, anything to add?
I would say that one thing that was really powerful for us was having a partner that we weren't sitting on opposite sides of the table. We literally had people that could buy our platform sitting next to us, working with us to figure out how to make it easier for them to make a purchase decision, how to make it easier for them to integrate it into their workflows, how to make it easier for them to be able to justify this purchasing decision to various stakeholders in their community and understanding what would be the obstacles and what would make this a sure win. And so that type of collaboration for 6 months is invaluable. And it's something which could be catalytic. It was catalytic for us, but it could be catalytic for any business, regardless of whether you're a startup or a scale up.
Yeah, I would just say, just do it. There's absolutely, I think, no reason not to earlier points. The application in and of itself is a good exercise to go through, and every step of the process you learn more, you meet more folks and make more valuable connections, and then the program itself is absolutely fantastic. MassChallenge FinTech does an unbelievable job supporting the startups through the entire journey. You know, MC extraordinaire Shane earlier was our champion, and he was, you know, just such a great resource for us, and continues to be, as does the entire MassChallenge team. So even beyond the amazing corporate partnerships that you're able to secure, which is obviously the lifeblood of startups, the support you get from the entire community throughout the program is really second to none. So I think it's and again, no cost to you as a startup, which is quite unbelievable and rare as well. So I think, yeah, do it.
Thanks, guys. Those kind words. I hope I didn't force these shameless plugs for the program, but thank you. Thanks, Kevin, Laura, Karin. It's been so rewarding to work with all of you over the last couple of years, and I'm so excited to continue to watch you grow. That we're going to wrap up the alum panel, which brings us into virtual networking. And so before we part, I just want to say another very big thank you to our event sponsors, Carta and Wolf & Company, as well as all of our partners. And thanks again, everyone, for being with us here today and all of your support. We're so fortunate to have such a vibrant community, and excited to see you soon in the virtual networking. Thanks again to our alums.
Thank you, everyone.